Good morning. Lisa sent me my birthday present early, or rather, she ordered it early, and it arrived early. So she asked me to film myself opening it. So here I am. I'm pretty confident that it's at least one book. It's from the School of Historical Dress in London. So this came all the way from London, which is really exciting. One of the things about kind of, let's say, expanding, I don't want to say changing the direction of my sewing, but expanding my sewing journey, is that I told Lisa it's a little bit like learning to sew all over again, because you have new techniques, new patterns, new like kind of shapes you haven't really worked with before. The materials might be slightly different from what you're used to, from your stretchy knits that you're used to if you're me. So I think that she's having a lot of fun enabling me through that journey. So I'm just going to cut this tape. We all know what that's like, right? Someone you know is getting into something that you are also kind of into. It's very fun to be a part of that. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, how fun. Okay, so this is cool. It comes with the School of Historical Dress scale ruler. This is in inches and centimeters, which is great. So this is a 1/4 inch, or I'm sorry, there's both the 1/4 scale and the 1/8 scale, and it's both metric and imperial, which is really nice because it can be frustrating to try to do the math in your head all the time. And it's Patterns of Fashion 1, which is fantastic. And I actually think I have maybe seen a copy of this book. Gosh, I want to say like in the stacks, but definitely more of an archival situation, because I don't think it was widely available when I looked at it the first time. Oh my gosh, okay, I should have grabbed here. This is so pretty. It's a nice big book. And of course there are other volumes in this series, and they have on the back, if you want to continue this journey, this is what you got. I should take that off so you can really read it and not just see your own reflection. There we go. Content, cut, construction, context. We teach the 4 elements of dress. So there are other volumes in this series. There's basically 1 through 6 total. But this is the first one: content, cut, construction, and context of English women's dress from 1720 to 1860, which is just, oh, it's just beautiful. So this is the new edition. Oh wow. This is so cool. So some of you may know I actually do work in the book industry, and so on top of all the information I love getting from books, it's always fun to see how books are actually put together. And so for these beautiful end papers, that's what that's called. Although it's unusual to do it in a paperback, so it's kind of nice that they've added that little detail, that little extra thing. We go forward. Information about Janet Arnold, and then a list of all the wonderful illustrations. This is going to be so useful to me. Can't wait to read the whole thing. But one of the things that's great about, so one thing that's interesting is, like, because I'm used to working from kind of available patterns, I'm used to having lots of options. Being able to, say, well, maybe I want to try this company or that company, or I want to do this or that. And, for historical stuff, there's fewer options. A lot more effort and work goes into researching, the correct technique and this is so beautiful, and the right shapes and everything. And so, compared to modern sewing patterns, especially if you're someone who is like me, who waits for sales, they're very expensive. And while I'm sure they're worth every penny, it can be a little frustrating to be like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive. Like, it's a whole new version of the hobby. So look at that. And the photography is really gorgeous and clear. But that is just great. It's all quilted. I'm not a quilter, but you can buy pre-quilted fabric if you want to. And here is a gorgeous sack back dress, which is the style of dress that I already have in my closet that I purchased at Colonial Williamsburg. And in the future, I don't know when, but in the future I probably will make at least one because it's really just cool. It's a very fun, I mean, if you're going to play dress up, go all the way, right? So, yeah, and so sometimes they even have the specific, like they're matching the dress to a portrait or an image of how it was actually worn, which is kind of cool because seeing something flat or even on a mannequin in a museum doesn't always give you the context that you want for a garment. So this actually reminds me, the way that the designs are laid out and the way the information is presented actually reminds me a lot of let's see, what were those books called? Well, let me look. This is going to sound weird, but it reminds me a lot of the Reader's Digest complete guides, which some of you may have seen. They're out of print now, but they're widely available, and they're not super expensive. But they do have the same kind of look to the diagrams where it's kind of a grid format, and it has very clear, instructions, which is kind of the point of that book and of those books and of this book as well. So, it's literally like saying, like, okay, this is the size of the thing that has to get cut, and this is how you're going to gather it, and this is what it looks like when it's done. So it's really, really exciting. So thank you very much, Lisa. I'm really excited to get into this book.